I kind of got sick of paying for things, and I educated myself enough through online. There's a lot of state statutes that you need to be aware of.
Your book is part memoir and part how-to book. Give me some of the how-tos as you were going through the process of divorce. What were some of the things that the top 3, maybe top 5, whatever you want to share in terms of like lessons learned?
One of the big things is being a self-advocate. Lawyers often don't tell you everything that you need to know because for them it's second nature. That's what they do every day. For example, I didn't know that you could file for child support before you were divorced. So I lost out on many months of that. There's a lot of groups out there that could help you with that. There's different support groups. There's people that can be advocates for you in a courtroom as well. And, just working yourself around the court system, that is a tricky business. I had a lawyer for a lot of it. And then at a certain point, like I say, after the divorce, when I still had 20 more court cases to go, I kind of got sick of paying for things. And I educated myself enough through online. There's a lot of state statutes that you need to be aware of. You can find those all online. You can look up in books. You can just talk to people. But yeah, being a self-advocate is really an important part of the divorce process. And, being very careful and meticulous about signing things, being very word for word, reading every sentence over and over in different custody arrangements and different divorce decrees. There's a crazy story that I have. It's one of, I don't want to say favorite because it's so ridiculous, but one of the most oddest situations that I went through in my divorce was over a particular sentence in the divorce decree. And I was at the dentist taking my 4 kids for a cleaning, and I had actually 2 squad cars show up to arrest me. They had inadvertently called my ex's phone number for the reminder appointment. He ended up showing up to the dentist, but stayed outside in the vehicle and then called the police saying I was illegally bringing my kids to the dentist. He was trying to go off of the fact that I was only able to bring children to the doctor and he was only able to bring the children to the dentist, which in a rational person's mind, there's no judge ever that's going to say one parent only is allowed to bring, the kids for these kinds of medical treatments and another parent's only allowed to bring the kids for these kinds. That just doesn't make sense. But he had confused who paid for the premiums. So I was paying medical premiums. He was paying dental premiums. So in his mind, he turned that into he was allowed to bring kids to the dentist. Thus, I should be arrested. So it's silly things like that when you don't understand how legal documents work. And I wasn't arrested, by the way. I ended up telling him, well, if that's the case, then bring a copy of the divorce decree, show the police officers. And I'm sure he ended up paying upwards of $300 for his lawyer to truck over a copy of the divorce decree. But, that's on him too. But it's just knowing and understanding what legally things mean and what the ramifications of not knowing what your divorce decree or your legal things, the decrees that come from the court mean, and I was always trying to follow rules as far as getting the kids their right custody time, getting them to where they need to be in the custody times. But there'd be random things like my ex would send me a map 15 minutes prior and saying, I want a new location for the custody drop off. Well, I'm already on the road and I'm not looking at a computer to find out how to get you. So I should have not tried as hard in those things because when it's set up in the legal document, it's set up in the legal document. So I think that's an important part of divorcing in general is knowing how the law works and knowing what binding legal documents are and how binding they are. I think that's a big takeaway that I had.
Thanks for listening to the Adrian Sinclair Show. You can find previous episodes on the Apodcast multi-channel network at apodcast.com. You can also stream this podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Podbean, and other audio platforms. And if you subscribe to our weekly newsletter, you'll get convenient short summaries of podcasts you may have missed. So check it out. And lastly, please support us by sharing our episodes on social media. We really appreciate it. Thanks.